Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna बोलिए बोलिए सब लोग गाइए हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvantam Aravindanalayataksam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anganiyasa Sakalen Priya Vriti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
শ্রী গুরু চরণ পদ্মা কেবল ভক্তি সদমা। বন্দময়ী সাবধান মাতে বন্দময়ী সাবধান মাতে যার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভব তরিয়া যায়। যার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভব তরিয়া যায়। কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে, কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে, গুরুমুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে করিয়ায়ক। আর না করিহ মনে আশা, আর না করিহ মনে আশা। শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এই সেই উত্তম গতি। শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এই সেই উত্তম গতি। যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা, যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা, আর চক্ষু দান দিলা যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সে, আরে চক্ষু দান দিলা যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সে। দিব জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত, দিব জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত। প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে, প্রেম ভক্তি
হইতে अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ वेद गाय जहाँ चरिता वेद गाय जहाँ चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन शिल प्रभुपाद मोदेर जीवन हे हा प्रभु करो दया देह मरे पद छाया हा प्रभु कर दया देह मरे पद छाया आर हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया ए हा प्रभु करो दया दे हमारे पद छाया हे विजय घुसुक त्रिभुवना हे विजय घुसुक त्रिभुवना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा शिला प्रभुपादा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 नमोऽयं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने नाम वेदांत नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे ना जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango Jaya, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gaurango. कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। हे वृंदावन धाम जय कृष्ण बलराम। कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। श्री कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। हे राधा समू सुंदर ललिता विशाखा जय राधा समू सुंदर ललिता विशाखा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद।
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Radhe Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bole Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare सारे लोग महामंत्र प्रेम से बोले कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे बोलो बोलो Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Hari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Hari. Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamunatera Vanachahari. Yamunatera Vanachahari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Hari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Hari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamunatera Vanachahari. Yamunatera Vanachahari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Kunj Bihari Radha Kunj Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe Jaya Radha Radha Kanta Radha Radha Kanta Radhe Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Bank Bihari Radha Bank Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe Jaya Radha Sham Sundar Radha Sham Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jaya Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Jaya Radhe Sham. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishwapad, Paramahamsa Prabhupada, Shota Satta Shishamachila. Hey Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jaya Vishwapad, Paramahamsa Prabhupada, Shota Satta Shishamachila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Kodi Vaishnavarinda ki. Sirup Sri Sanatan Bhattaragnath Sri Jiv Gopalvata Das Saragnath Sadhu Goswami Prabhu ki. प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवजरी गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपा गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की तुलसी महारानी भक्ति देवी की गंगा यमुना देवी की हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्री श्री गौनिताय की श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे हरे बोल समवेत भक्त वृंद की all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nashtabe shavadesho nityam bhagavate sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistike. Ete chamsa kalapumsam krishnastu bhagansam. Indriyar vyakalam lokam mridyante yuge yuge nama sanketanam yasya sarva papa pranasanam pranamaduka samanastam namami harim param. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 44th chapter, text number 39. Sanittatadvigna dviyatamishvaram Bibam madanva vicharan sapanshvasan Tadasha chakra yudham agrato yatas Tadeva rupam duravapamapa Sannittadodvigna diyatvam ishvaram Piban nodanva vicharan sapansvasan Dadasha chakra yudham agrato yatas Tadeva rupam duravapannapa Sannittadodvigna diyatamishvaram Pibam madanva vicharan sapansvasan Tadasha chakra yudham agrato yatas Tadeva rupam duravapamapa Sannittadvigna diyaptam ishvaram Vipam madam va vicharan sapansasan Tadasya chakra yudhamakrato yatas Tadeva rupam duravapamapa Matajis. Sa hi kansa nityada constantly udvigna anxious dhiya with mind tam him Ishwaram the Supreme Lord biban while drinking adan eating va or vicharan walking swapan sleeping swasan breathing dadarsha so chakra the disc weapon ayudham in his hand agrata before himself yata because tat that eva same rupam personal form duravapam very difficult to achieve apa he achieved Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Kamsa had already been disturbed by the thought that the Supreme Lord was to kill him. Therefore, when drinking, eating, moving about, sleeping, or simply breathing, the king had always seen the Lord before him with a disc weapon in his hand. Thus Kamsa achieved the rare boon of attaining a form like the Lord's. Purport. Although born out of fear, Kamsa's constant meditation of the Supreme Lord eradicated all his offenses. And therefore the demon was liberated upon his death at the Lord's hands. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yanam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshare Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Rama Rama Hare Hare. So here in this chapter, the killing of Kamsa has been described. In this verse, it is explained how Kamsa, although inimical towards the Lord, wanting to kill Krishna, Kamsa was always thinking about the Supreme Lord, about Krishna. So he had heard also that he will be the cause of his death. So therefore, as explained here, that he was meditating on Krishna out of fear. Although he was very powerful, and he killed so many people, and he put even his own father in prison, and he disturbed so many people. He was very powerful. But in regards to Krishna, the Supreme Lord, his power was completely insignificant. And therefore also he was apprehensive, because when at the time of his cousin sister's marriage, Devaki, a voice from the sky announced that the 8th child of Devaki will kill you. And the voice was also saying, "You fool." Because actually anyone who is not surrendered to Krishna is a foolish person. Because by nature, all the living entities are eternal servants of Krishna. And they're meant to serve Krishna. Dharma, Jaiva Dharma. There's a beautiful book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur explaining about the constitutional position of the living entity. Of course, the acharyas It is mentioned in the scriptures that we are meant to serve Krishna. Krishna himself in Bhagavad-Gita, he says, Sarva dharman parijyajya mam ekam saranam braja. Tameva pavebhyos, what is it? Sarva dharman parijyajya mam ekam saranam braja aham tam sarva pavebhyo mokshayishami ma suchaha. So we will leave you for all sinful reactions. You do not fear. So dharma here, we have to understand also that different kinds of dharma. One is known as nitya dharma, sanatan dharma, parodharma, jiva dharma. That is the actual dharma, that is service to Krishna. That is the constitutional position of every living entity. But being in this world, and the conditioned soul, sometimes he learns about different activities, even according to Vedic literatures, or different other scriptures, explaining some concepts of God consciousness, and some religious principles, duties are given. But these are not eternal principles. They are known as naimitika dharma. That is occasional duty pertaining to the body. So when Krishna is saying sarva dharma parijyajya, give up all kinds of dharma, is referring to this naimitika dharma, like varna ashram. Varna ashram dharma, according to varna and ashram, social order and spiritual orders, every embodied human being has to be engaged in some activity, either as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but that pertains to the body. And still one has to remember that ultimately I'm the servant of Krishna, but that is my occupational duty. That is temporary, related to the body. But still also Krishna has to be in the center. The Lord has to be in the center. Then it is known as Daivi Varnashram. It is transcendental Varnashram, because one is conscious of one's constitutional position. But other dharmas, ultimately they have to be given up, identifying with his body, or even the Muslims or the Christians. They're following dharma also, religion, but that is mostly on the bodily platform. Although they have some knowledge of the soul, but because they are not properly guided, because they are not yet qualified, they're not able to understand their constitutional position. Although some knowledge is given, even in the Bible and in the Quran, about the Supreme Lord, and the position of the servant, of the spirit soul, being different from the material body. But then exactly how to serve the Supreme Lord, that is not fully explained. Where Krishna is residing, where the Supreme Lord is residing. Some idea is given for the beginners. So all this kind of dharma religion has to be given up. And one has to surrender to Krishna. That is the constitutional position of the jiva, is to serve Krishna or his expansions in the spiritual world. Vaikuntha Lok, either Vishnu, Narayan, Ramchandra. That is the dharma, Sanatan dharma, when one is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, either Krishna, Vishnu, or Ram, under the guidance of the spiritual master, the liberated soul. Without guidance, it is difficult to make advancement in spiritual life. So, Kamsa, and of course, Kamsa, he also had some understanding of the Vedic literatures, of some principles to follow, but he was not properly following, and he was inimical towards the Supreme Lord. He was a Kshatriya, was powerful, and he had some knowledge, but that is known as the Varnashram, Asurik Varnashram. Those who do not accept the Supreme Lord. And ultimately there's not much benefit in performing that kind of Varna ashram principles. So Kamsa, he was thinking about Krishna. So thinking about Krishna, that is wonderful. That is actually, the goal of life is to always remember Krishna. As Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Man manava bhava mad bhakto jimam namaskuru. Always think of me, worship me. Ananyas chintantamam yajanapaya pasate. Tesham nityavayuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I'm telling Arjuna, you always think of me. And in this way, then whatever you have, you can keep, or whatever is lacking in any way, in regards to spiritual advancement or in regards to living in this world, that will be supplied. So Kamsa was thinking about Krishna, as explained here. Most probably, especially those who are in the beginning stage. So we are trying to think about Krishna, to remember Krishna's form, but it is not easy in the beginning stage. So Kamsa, he was able to think of Krishna more than maybe most of us. As mentioned here, when drinking, Biban, Adan, while eating, Swapan, dreaming or sleeping, while breathing, he was breathing. So breathing is natural, as we know. We don't even have to think, I have to breathe. It is natural. And actually the pure devotees, they don't have to endeavor even to think about Krishna. It is natural. They're thinking about Krishna because they have love for Krishna. Especially the eternal associates, but also those who become perfect. Sadhana siddha or kripa siddha, by performing devotional service life after life, or by doing something exceptional and getting the causeless mercy of Hari Guru or Vaishnav, they may be able to always think of Krishna. But that is rarely achieved. So here Kamsa, he was able to think of Krishna practically all the time. Even here it is mentioned, not only Krishna's form, but Krishna has also some weapons. One of them is the disc, and he has a club, disc and club. Because actually he was afraid that he will be killed, so he had heard. So one of the weapons is the disc. And here also today we have an outfit, a new outfit offered, and you can see the 4 articles which Krishna is holding: Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So that is there on the outfit, if you have seen properly, new outfit. So the disc is there, Sudarshan Chakra, by which Krishna can easily kill anybody. And the Gada, the club. And then, so these are for killing the demons, these 2 items. The 2 other items, the lotus flower and the conch shell, these are there to bestow blessings, to proclaim victory, Vijay. So by blowing the conch shell, so that is of course with blowing the conch shell before the Artik, after the Artik. But even as we know in Kurukshetra, there before they started fighting, everyone was blowing the conch shell. So Krishna, of course, whatever Krishna is doing is most wonderful and sweet. But when Krishna is blowing the conch shell, that is explained also, then the devotees become very happy. Because in this way they are blessed by hearing Krishna blowing the conch shell. And sometimes even with the conch shell, like to Dhruva Maharaj, he also touched on his forehead with the conch shell, in blessing. Or sometimes with a lotus flower, he's bestowing his mercy. But the demons, when they hear the conch shell, they're terrified, because the sound is extraordinary. Even there's a verse, it is mentioned in the scriptures, the wives of the demons who are pregnant, they have miscarriages. It is mentioned when a woman is pregnant, she has to be careful, especially in the beginning, the first 2-3 months. Like, for example, they should not go on a bumpy road by rickshaw, by even, and now the roads are very bumpy here in Vrindavan, because there's a chance of miscarriage. Also the last month, because she's almost ready to deliver, so she has to be careful and not just travel around on a bumpy road. Otherwise the baby may just come out. But in between, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th month, they are quite okay, but still they have to be a little careful. But when Krishna is blowing the conch shell, because the women, the wives of the demons, they hear that, they're afraid that Krishna might kill our husband who is inimical towards Krishna. So the demons and the demons' wives are afraid. So much so, when they hear the sound, the wives have miscarriages, even if they are 4 or 5 months pregnant, because it is so terrifying. Of course, not all of them, but it is mentioned, the verse is there in the scriptures. Of course, even we can see that even the lotus flower, so that is a favorite flower of the devotees. Of course, because Krishna likes lotus flower, and the lotus flower is very beautiful. And therefore, Krishna's transcendental form is described, or different parts of his form is given the comparison with the lotus flower. Like his lotus face, like a lotus flower. Or his eyes, like a lotus petal, elongated. And the lotus petal is, of course, different colors of lotuses are there, but the most famous one is the pink lotus flower. But it is not completely pink. It is also whitish. And the blue lotus flower also pink, white one also. But most famous is the pink lotus flower. So, and we know, of course, Krishna's transcendental form is known as Shyama Sundar. But this Krishna's color is very special. And although materialistic people think that black is not a nice color and black is empty, nothing is there. But it is not true. According to the scriptures, the Vedic literatures, all the colors are there in black. And so Krishna, we can see in Krishna is known as Krishna Surya, blackish in complexion, but more bright and shining than the sun. The sunlight, where from is the sunlight coming? That is from Krishna's effulgence. The Brahma Jyoti is Krishna's effulgence. And the sun and moon, they get the light from the Brahma Jyoti. That is explained in the scriptures. So Krishna is known as Krishna Surya, Krishna Chandra, like the full moon. As beautiful as the full moon or as the sun. And so effulgent, although it's blackish in color, Shyam Sundar, but still effulgent. So that is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even pink, that is included in Krishna. Therefore, his face is explained like a lotus flower. And his eyes like lotus petals. And we can see the eyes. Of course, it is whitish in color. But then there's some pink in there on the sides. You can see in anyone's eyes, there's some pink there. On the sides especially, but also around, there's some pink. Of course, if one has the eye flu, then his eyes are completely pink. Otherwise, there's white is there. But then the inside of Krishna's eyes, Kanaka Jalada Gatro Nila Sonab Janetro, that is explained. Radharani's color is golden. And Shama Sundar, Jalada, just like the rain cloud, Jalada, that which is giving rain, Jalada, that is the cloud. Nila Sonabjanetro, so the inside of Krishna's eyes is golden. Sonabjanetro, and Radharani is bluish, because Krishna wants to see Radharani. Therefore he has Pitambar Vesh also, a yellow dhoti, because he wants to embrace, he wants to see Srimati Radharani, who is of golden complexion, and Radharani wants to see Krishna, who is darkish blue. So on Krishna's hands are compared also to, we say the lotus hands of Krishna, and they are pinkish, that we know. Even those who have fair complexion, a little more. But here, Saranga Thakur, Saranga, Hare Krishna, your hand, show me your hand, show me your hand. Also a little pinkish, although it's a little darkish because he's Bengal side, or what's your place? Tripura is after Bengal, so they're a little darkish in complexion. But still the hands are pinkish, little pinkish, the lips also, so very beautiful. So, and the devotees are positively thinking of Krishna, Krishna's beauty. Whereas here, Kamsa, he was thinking about Krishna, also the same Krishna, but negative. And of course, here it is mentioned that that he got a liberation and attain a form just like the Lord. So it is explained by the Acharyas that, of course, because we have to understand, somebody may be thinking, I'm doing my chanting of my rounds, I'm worshipping Krishna, I'm offering food to Krishna, but still have so many difficulties. And I'm trying to please Krishna, still have so many difficulties. And then the demons, they're hating Krishna, they're hating the devotees, they're giving trouble to the devotees, trying to kill Krishna. So how come he's getting liberation? That is not fair, somebody can be thinking. And actually the Acharyas have explained that we have to engage in positive devotional service. And one of the first verses of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, which we are supposed to study in the beginning when we join the temple, or also then Bhakti Shastri, one of the books is there, Nectar of Devotion. So there it is explained, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmanavritam anukulina krishna nishilanam bhakti uttamam. So uttam bhakti, first class devotional service, how it has to be performed. Anyabhilashita shunyam. So should be no other desire except anukulina krishna nushilanam. Anukul bhav, favorable mood should be there in regards to remembering Krishna, serving Krishna, and not even what we want. We may be thinking, okay, I want to offer this to Krishna, I want to do this. That is fine, that is all right. But even more high than this is I want, is to do what Krishna wants. Krishna Nushilanam. And so for that, of course, we have to go to the spiritual master who knows exactly what Krishna wants. But those in purified consciousness, they will also understand what Krishna wants. But at the beginning stage, we may not know. Then we go to the spiritual master. So Anukul Bhav should be there, should be favorable, Anushilanam as Krishna wants. And then not having any other desire for our own self, for our sense gratification. Jnana karma anavritam. It should not be covered. Anavrit means covered by the desire of acquiring knowledge, and by karma, meaning I'm doing something and I want something in return. So that is not a pure consciousness. Our pure consciousness should not be covered by that fruitful mentality, that I should get something in return, or I should get some even subtle, more subtle, some recognition, name, fame, glory. The same old story. So, Because in material world, everyone wants to do something for his own self, either directly for himself or for the family members, for the nation, with a desire for recognition also that is more subtle than gross sense gratification. But in spiritual life, even that has to be given up. To be recognized as a big book distribution, I want to become number one. Of course, it's nice to distribute many books and to do more than others, but it is very subtle. But we should not try to do the same in such a way that I should be recognized. Because otherwise, again, ahankar is there. Identifying with this body, with our situation. Identify that I should be number one book distributor, or I should be recognized as whatever, head pujari. No, but we should always be in the position of das, das, anudas, the servant of the servant of the servant. But yes, if you can distribute many books, more than anyone else, that is fine. But we should not become falsely proud. But there's also transcendental pride that can be there. Just like, again, oh yes, I'm big book distributor, I'm in ISKCON, the best movement, everything is first class, everyone else is second class. So that is already not pure. The pride which is there is contaminated by modes of material nature. But the pure pride will be there. I'm so fortunate, although I'm insignificant. But by the mercy of Prabhupada, I'm able to take part in the Sankirtan movement of Mahaprabhu, which Prabhupada inaugurated also in the form of ISKCON, and I'm able to do a little seva. So we can be proud that I'm part of Prabhupada's movement. But we should remain humble also at the same time, that I'm insignificant. That is transcendental pride. So, and that is transcendental envy also, transcendental anger. Like here, Kamsa is envious and angry at Krishna, but that is material. Although he's thinking about Krishna. He's thinking about Krishna, but not in a positive way. Therefore, his emotions, they are also not transcendental, but they are material, although he's thinking about Krishna. But then he's angry, that is material anger, and is envious of Krishna. And that is material. But it is transcendental envy also, although sometimes it is explained there is no envy, but actually it is there, but it is pure. It is a kind of transcendental competition that is explained also in the Nectar of Devotion. 33 Vyabhichari Bhav, emotions which are coming and going. That is for those who are highly advanced in spiritual understanding and realization. Those who know their relationship with Krishna, Sthai Bhav. Sthai Bhav means permanent ecstasy. In terms of our relationship with Krishna as a friend, as a servant, or parental affection or conjugal affection. That is known as permanent ecstasy or relationship with Krishna. Now we are practicing, so our relationship is not yet, it is there, but it is dormant. But when we advance, then we come to the platform of transcendental emotion and love, then it is known as Rati. Madhurya Rati, when we feel that Krishna is my beloved. When we can feel Krishna is my best friend, that is known as Sakya Rati. But then only when we are realized, then it is known as Sakya Ras, ya Madhurya Ras. The transcendental relationship is there, and then exchange is there, mellow is there. But then the different emotions are there. So many sometimes crying in ecstasy, as we see Mahaprabhu, or the associates of Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, sometimes crying in ecstasy. So that is known as Ashta Sattvika Bhav. So crying in ecstasy, becoming stunned, the hairs on the body standing on end. Because Krishna is there in the center and the loving sentiments are there directed towards Krishna. And then the different other emotions are there, they are coming and going also. There are 33. Like sometimes there's transcendental sadness, the gopis, or sometimes sad. Maria Yashoda is sad. Oh, Krishna has gone to the forest. Now I'm alone. I cannot see Krishna. But still she's thinking about Krishna in a positive way. So there's transcendental envy also. Like when Krishna is going to see Radharani, then Chandravali from the opposite party is becoming a little envious. Or when Krishna goes to see Chandravali, Radhan becomes a little envious. But the pure love for Krishna is there in conjugal relationship. And this envy, it is only for a little while, so it is coming and going. So whereas here, the emotions of Kamsa, they are completely material. Although it's thinking about Krishna, but not in a positive way, not with love and devotion. Out of envy, out of anger, out of pride. So he's thinking about Krishna, but basically also as mentioned here, and mostly because of fear. But the different emotions are there. Many times, many emotions are there. So for the materialistic persons, and but of course the original emotions are always there with the Supreme Lord and His associates. And the emotions in this world, they are perverted reflection of the transcendental emotions. So that we have to understand. So, but still, if one is thinking of Krishna, some benefit is there. That is explained here. And that is explained by the acharyas also. Practically all the demons killed by Krishna, they got some kind of liberation, but not the ultimate liberation, except a few cases. Some they merge in the body of Krishna. So that is not real liberation. That is known as Suyuja Mukti. That is so merging in the form of Krishna, that is one kind of liberation, or in the Brahmajyoti, but that is not the real liberation. Only for some time they are free from this material entanglement, from birth and death. They merge in Krishna's body, but then they are not serving Krishna. They are in a conditioned state, or those who merge in the Brahmajyoti. So most of the demons, they attain that liberation, which is not desirable. Of course, Putana, she is an exceptional case, and so because she had some positive emotion at one point, but then some in regards to Vamandev, when he appeared. So she was a sister of Bali Maharaj, and then so when she first saw Vamanadev, because he was in a form of a dvark, like a small boy, so then naturally she had some emotions, just like towards a child. Oh, I would like to give my breast milk to him. I would like to embrace this small, beautiful boy. But then when Bali Maharaj was captured, she became angry. Oh, this Vamadev is the cause of giving difficulty to my brother. So then she had this emotion also, I want to kill him. So therefore she appeared as Putana. But so Krishna purified her negative emotions, wanting to kill, by, again here the instigation, or by, of course, of Kamsa, but ultimately by arrangement. Of course, it may be divine arrangement or arrangement of the external energy. So then she was there, she's a demoness, but then she took a beautiful form by mystic power, and then she took Krishna, and nobody was scared of her, because she was there as a beautiful woman. Maria Yashoda and Rohini, they saw her, and she was asking, can I just take a little boy and give my breast milk? And then because that is natural for a mother, if somebody else is there, then they share the bliss. And so they didn't have any objection, although she was not known to them. But if one is in a happy state of mind, and then of course, those who are cultured, they will also see, and they will understand if somebody is positive inclined, that you can see from the face. So because she was nicely appearing as a beautiful young lady, so they didn't have any objection. And she had smeared poison on her breast. And then, so Krishna, so he's there, he's mugdha, he's bewildered by his own potency, sometimes doesn't know what's happening for a few seconds, but he's sarvagya, he knows everything. So he knew that is Putana, and he knew also that she was Bali Maharaja's sister in previous life. And he knew, because he's sarvagya, antaryami, trikalagya, he knows past, present and future, he's in everyone's heart. So he knew her previous life. Therefore, all right, so she wants to kill me because the desire was there already in previous life, so let her do that. But then also he was recognizing in her last life she wanted to breastfeed him also. And she had some loving sentiments. So therefore he accepted the loving sentiments and he was sucking her breast, but at the same time he was taking out her life. And in this way she was purified, and then she got a position in Golok of these ladies who are helping the mothers there as a nurse. So that is a rare case that the demons, they get fully liberated. But mostly they get the liberation of merging into the form of Krishna or in the Brahmajyoti, and then after many millions of years they again come back to this world. From that form there, which anyhow, that is how the two kinds of living entities, Nitya Siddha, Nitya Bada. So eternally conditioned since time immemorial. So they come to this world and then they have the chance to become liberated. And once liberated, then just like the eternal associates of Krishna, Nitya Siddha, they were never contaminated, they were never liberated. They were never conditioned. Like Lalita Vishaka, Rupa Rati Manjari, they were always serving Krishna. They will always be serving Krishna. They will never be conditioned. But some of the jivas, so they come into this world, the Nitya Bada, and then they can become liberated. And once liberated, one will never come in this material world in conditioned state. The other says they also come in this world, but they remain ever liberated, Nitya Siddha. So Krishna is most merciful, and ultimately he wants all the jivas to serve him. And that is the constitutional position of all the jivas, that is to serve Krishna. Even the biggest demons, ultimately they're also servants of Krishna. But due to their being conditioned since time immemorial, so they are averse to the service of the Lord. But by good fortune, by either the mercy of the Lord who is killing them, or by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by some good fortune, they may come in contact with the Vaishnavas, they may engage in devotional service, and ultimately they may become liberated. So that is the transcendental play of the Lord. Krishna has his pastimes in the spiritual world, known as Ashtakalya Lila, which is eternally going on. But then sometimes this material world is manifested, only sometimes, by the will of the Lord. And then those who are Nitya Badas, they can come in this world and they have a chance to become liberated. And when they are liberated, then they can serve Krishna. And once serving Krishna in loving exchange, then one will never fall back again in this world. So here, of course, so Prabhupada has explained, we should try to hear the eternal pastimes of Krishna in the spiritual world, but then also for purification, we have to hear the pastimes of Krishna in this world, and by hearing the different pastimes, the anarthas in our heart, they are vanquished. And then we can, with pure consciousness, we can serve Krishna, and then there's a loving exchange. And then we can enter Krishna's pastimes, which is the perfection of life. But now we are practicing. So practicing, and there's some exchange, but the exchange is not complete with Krishna, because we are not in transcendently situated yet. But whatever Krishna is accepting our favorable service, it has to be anukul and anushilanam. favorable and according to Krishna's desire, which he will show us, or the spiritual master is showing us. And then we can advance more and more. If it is not favorable, then we will not attain perfection immediately. But after some time, like even Kamsa, although he was not in the proper consciousness, but because he was thinking of Krishna, and because he was killed by Krishna, not by the weapons, by the way. Because in Braj, Krishna doesn't use the chakra, the Sudarshan chakra, the transcendental wheel or the club. Even he is not blowing the conch shell in Vrindavan. Only he has the lotus flower, which is giving blessings with that. But even by seeing, by speaking, with his hands, Krishna is giving blessings. By sidelong glance. And so we are seeing Krishna. Actually, we are going to the temple to serve Krishna. Also, we want to see him, but it is more important that Krishna is seeing us. And then we are blessed. So we should go to the temple not to seek Krishna for sense gratification, but to serve Krishna in seva bhav. That is the right mood. Going to the temple to serve Krishna. But then by Krishna's mercy we can see him also, and he's seeing us, which is more important. Again here, everything should be for Krishna's satisfaction. So when he sees us in a mangalatik, nicely dressed, nicely putting tilak, we glorifying him, then Krishna is satisfied. And he will bestow his blessings. And then we can become perfect. Slowly but surely, it will take some time to become completely perfect. But we should try our best to make as much advancement as possible in this lifetime. Hare Krishna. Any questions or any comments? Maharaj, any comment? Any comment? There's one question behind. Mataji has one question. Where's the mic?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. In the translation of the verse, it is mentioned that Kamsa achieved the form of Krishna. What does exactly this means?
What is it?
In the translation of the verse, it is mentioned at the last line that
Yes.
Kamsa achieved form of Krishna, Krishna's form. What does exactly mean?
No. It is a form just like Krishna's.
Form like Krishna.
Like Krishna means a spiritual form. Like Krishna's form is Satchidananda. So the different kinds of liberation also, Sarupya, Salokya, Samipya, like this. So not all the living entities in the spiritual, not all the liberated souls, they have a human form in the spiritual world. Some they are in the form of animals and trees and birds like that. But of course, most of the associates, they have a human-like form just like Krishna or like Vishnu. Like in Vaikuntha also, Sarupya. Many of the associates, they have four-armed form, like Vishnu. They look very similar to Vishnu, but they're different. There's a difference.